Once upon a time, there lived a kind fairy. No one knew where she came from, and no one cared. The main thing was that the kingdom now had its own sorceress, and that was a blessing. The fairy settled in the forest, built herself a fairy tale house there, and began to fulfill her destiny. As we know, fairies come in all shapes and sizes. Some help lovers meet, others predict the future, and still others bring wealth. Our fairy was a healer. She was very good at healing bodies, and even better at healing souls, because she had a magical talisman, a big heart. When a person came to her, even before they said anything, her big heart immediately sensed that they were sick, lonely, and abandoned, and that they needed help. The fairy immediately opened her soul, which was an inexhaustible source of love. She sent him to the sick person, and immediately such warmth enveloped him that he felt calm and good, like with his mother, and the fairy cared for him, cheered him up, supported him in general, and gave him time for his emotional wounds to heal. And when he leaves, healed, with gratitude and tears of happiness in his eyes, she is also happy, because she has fulfilled her magical destiny. Soon, there was not a single person left in the kingdom who had not heard of the fairy, and many knew her personally. Everyone loved and respected her, and even gave her the name of the sun. Meanwhile, in the royal family, the prince grew up. He was strong and agile, young and handsome in all competitions, always coming in first, and all the girls in the kingdom were crazy about him. But he was not very interested in girls, preferring hunting and sports, and he loved to travel. His parents thought that this was due to his royal discernment, but in fact it was because of his cold heart. There is such a mental illness. If a child's heart does not receive the necessary nourishment, it becomes cold and lifeless. On the outside, you see a person like any other, but inside there is coldness and silence, no warmth. And so one day our prince went into the forest to hunt deer, without his retinue, taking only his servant with him. He saw a deer and chased it, but the deer darted into the thickest part of the forest, where it was impossible to follow on horseback. The prince, excited, rushed after it, pushed his way through the branches, and found himself in a clearing. He saw the exhausted deer kneeling, breathing heavily, with a girl of unearthly beauty embracing it around the neck. The prince saw her and forgot about the deer, because her big heart immediately recognized the prince's serious illness and so on. She poured out her light, which turned into a powerful ray and enveloped the prince from head to toe, and he immediately felt so calm, as if he were a little boy and his mother was stroking his head. "Who are you, lovely stranger?" the prince asked softly. "Don't you know me?" The fairy was surprised. "I have lived here for a long time, and my name is Sunbeam." "What a beautiful name! And how it suits you," said the prince. "May I stay with you?" "Of course, please do," invited the fairy. "If you are well, Then I am well." And the prince stayed, only sending his servant home so that they would not worry. His cold heart suddenly stirred, so strong was the ray of love coming from the fairy, and her big heart beat faster. If anyone needed help, it was the prince, and she opened her soul so that he could drink from her inexhaustible source of love. After all, as we know, when we fulfill our destiny, our hearts sing, and we want to protect our loved ones, save them, ward off trouble, and envelop them in our warmth, just like a mother. This is the purest love in the world, when tenderness overflows, and we want it to last forever. The prince, who grew up in a huge palace, had never felt such love. As we know, princes receive the strictest upbringing so that they can become true monarchs, and therefore learn from childhood what is acceptable and what is not. But princes cannot throw themselves into things with gusto. They cannot throw themselves into their mother the queen's arms. They cannot ride on their father's shoulders. Again, it is not proper. Court etiquette is a complicated and very correct thing, and therefore cold. Perhaps this is why monarchies often suffer from cold hearts? The big-hearted, bright, sunny girl knew nothing about court etiquette, but she sensed that the prince needed love and care, and without hesitation, she bravely rushed to save him with her inexhaustible love. Oh my God, how the forest began to blossom, even old stumps sprouted young shoots, even stones were covered with young green moss, and how many mushrooms and berries grew during that time is beyond comprehension. And everything that people gathered in the forest turned out to be healing. How much love the sun's rays spread around her. Her heart sank, and she flew as if on wings, thinking of what else she could do to keep her prince healthy and happy. And the prince marveled at how much energy she had, how many smiles she sent out into the world, how easily she dispelled his melancholy, and his cold heart gradually began to thaw and beat faster. She was like a mother to him, not the queen who gave him her hand to kiss in the morning, but the one he had dreamed of since childhood, warm, loving, forgiving. Did the prince love the fairy? Of course he did, in his own way. He was grateful to her, he never tired of marveling at her, he even helped her with her magical chores, because everything was new and interesting to him. But the power of her love sometimes frightened him. He was not used to such outpourings of love, he had not seen them in the palace, so he allowed her to love him, drank from her inexhaustible source, but he himself was only learning to love. Gradually, his emotional wounds healed, he felt more and more whole, and the prince began to gradually move away from the fairy's fairy tale house, wandering further and further into the forest. And once, at the forest lake, he saw an unfamiliar girl. She had just finished bathing and was standing on the shore, wringing out her long golden hair. He gazed at this beauty, lost in thought, and a branch cracked. The girl looked back, but she was not frightened. She simply put on her shirt and walked away along the shore. From that moment on, the prince lost his peace of mind. All he could see was the beautiful stranger. Even the light became dim, the sun became anxious, and it began to send him even more love, enveloping him with even more warmth, and the prince did not resist. But he was distracted, and the prince decided to go to the lake every day, sit on the shore, and wait for the stranger to come swimming again. One day, that's exactly what happened. "Well, are you coming?" she asked mockingly, approaching him from a direction he did not expect. "I've been waiting for you," said the prince in a suddenly hoarse voice. "I can't forget you." "It's hard to forget me," laughed the girl. "What is your name, handsome?" asked the prince. "Do I still have to earn my name?" The girl shrugged, as if the prince was already ready to do anything for her. "Bring me something amazing, then we'll talk," the girl said evasively and shot him a mysterious look with her green eyes. They parted, and the prince began to think feverishly about how to surprise his new acquaintance. If he were at home in the palace, he would have found some exotic curiosity, but here, in the forest. But he came up with an idea himself, found an intricate root, polished it himself, and made a dancing man out of it. Soon he was rushing to his date, carefully carrying the root under his arm. He had to wait again, and when she arrived and the prince presented her with the root, the beauty only raised her eyebrows. "You wanted to surprise me with this, but I make these myself, it's nothing special." The prince's heart even skipped a beat. "Tell me what you want me to bring you, and I'll get it." "I love jewelry," the girl said and walked away along the shore, as usual. The prince was gone all week, stringing rowan berries on a thread, making a beautiful necklace. "Oh, what a miracle, it made me so happy, the light of the sun." "Don't touch it," the prince rushed over, "it's my business." The fairy became sad, but she didn't show it, only enveloped him in her warmest rain. "Stop it," the prince got angry, "I feel like a baby in diapers, how long can this go on?" "But I love you," the fairy tried to explain, "but love me from a distance," the prince said and went away to the lake. "It's better there," the stranger nodded, "but rowan berries are not suitable material for real jewelry. Only forest fairies wear rowan." "I thought you were a forest fairy," the prince tried to joke. "Nothing of the sort, I'm just a beauty, and there's no magic," she said calmly. And the prince realized that he was doomed, because the beauty had completely filled his heart, and there was no room left in it for anyone else, including the light of the sun. "Bring me a real necklace, with corals instead of rowan berries," the stranger said to him as she left, "then I'll tell you my name." "Where am I going to get corals in the forest?" the prince cried desperately after her. "I don't know, think about it," she shrugged and disappeared behind the willow bushes. In the evening, the prince was silent and pensive, and he responded to all attempts by the sunlight to cheer him up with silence or rudeness. And in the morning, he took the fairy by the hand and said, looking her straight in the eyes, "I'm going back to the palace." How confused the fairy was. "Are you not well? Is it not good here?" "I'm not unhappy here, but I want to be with people. I feel strong inside. Ordinary, and I got bored." "But you could go to people whenever you want, and then come back here, to our little house," suggested the fairy. "I have my own little house, it's called a palace," smiled the prince, "in the kingdom of Preda." "Then take me with you," cried the fairy in despair. "I will love you, take care of you, forgive you everything, envelop you in warmth." "No need, I already have a mother there," said the prince harshly, but when he saw how sad she was, the sun softened. "Understand, I no longer need such care, and you cannot do otherwise. I have long understood your destiny, but I have grown up and been cured, and now I want to live like all ordinary princes. I know you will understand. I've fallen in love, you've fallen in love. It can't be. Who is she?" "I don't know, but she's beautiful, and I think about her every second," the prince confessed. "I'm sorry, but that's how it happened." "She bewitched you," the fairy clapped her hands. "And bewitched you," the prince replied defiantly. With her femininity, her inaccessibility, her mystery, I have to pursue her. And that excites me, arouses me, gives me a thrill. You know how your heart jumps out of your chest? I healed your heart," the sun quietly reminded him. "And thank you, Mommy," the prince said sincerely. "I will never forget that. Ask for anything you want, the fairy said simply. "Your love, I love you," the prince replied just as sincerely, "only this is a different kind of love. Forgive me and goodbye, I will not return. Here, take this rowan necklace, all the forest fairies wear them," and he left. Hard days came for the sunbeam. She thought about how treacherously her prince had betrayed their great love, and it was unbearably painful. She grieved, suffered, even cried, and did not leave her fairy tale house for a very long time. And when she came out, she was amazed at how everything around her had changed. Her forest had not seen love for so long that it had shriveled, blackened, and shed its leaves. Now fallen leaves rustled underfoot, dried up witnesses to great love. And in some places, snow had already fallen because the fairy soul had closed, and the ray of love could not escape. "Oh my God, what have I done?" gasped the sunbeam. "How could I have forgotten about my poor forest and her big heart?" Out of compassion, as soon as she felt pity for someone, the door of her soul immediately opened, and a ray of light appeared, which immediately began to caress, envelop, and heal the blackened trunks. The sun worked tirelessly, rushing through the forest and restoring it. She healed and helped. Soon people were drawn to her again, and she put her whole soul into them, forgetting her own grief. "He can't have forgotten me," she thought. Now he will see, hear, and learn how hardworking I am, how kind and big my heart is, how many people and trees I have helped, and he will come back to me, because no one will ever love him more than I do. If only the witch didn't interfere. But the prince did not return from those who came to her for healing. She heard the news that the prince was still living with this sorceress, fulfilling her every whim, presenting her with a new necklace every week, and it seemed that they were happy. It can't be, thought the fairy, because I still love him. She listened to herself and realized with horror that her love had long since shifted to other people, to the forest. Only a tiny little ray still belonged to the prince. She cherished and nurtured it, without knowing why. Then one day an old woman came to her, an ordinary old woman with a basket covered with a white handkerchief. The old woman asked to rest for a while, and the sun cheerfully gave her blood and invited her to share a meal. The old woman turned out to be cheerful. She knew many stories, jokes, and anecdotes, and she told them all. Sweet Sun even cheered up. "What a lovely child you are, and your laughter is so cheerful. You'll see, a lot of happiness awaits you in life," promised the old woman. "My happiness is already gone," said the fairy sadly, along with her beloved. "Now I'm waiting for him to come back." "Don't wait," advised the old woman. "Why do you need old happiness? If it's gone, then it wasn't your happiness. A sorceress, perhaps?" The fairy was surprised, for he lives with her, the home wrecker, and even if the sorceress did not argue with the old woman, if he lives there, then that is happiness for him. "But I love him," the fairy complained. "And I see, my dear, that you love everyone," the old woman remarked perceptively. "You have a rare gift of healing love, I tell you." "How do you know?" The fairy froze. "I know many things, because I've been around for a long time," laughed the old woman. I see that you also have the gift of healing, and I have the gift of seeing." "What else do you see?" the fairy asked with interest. "I see many things. I see that you are the sunshine of life and people are drawn to you, they love you, you are unfailing. You help everyone, you give everyone your love, and the world loves you for it. It protects you because it needs you. But if you can see everything, tell me, what did I do wrong? Why did my beloved go looking for happiness elsewhere?" the fairy asked. "Okay, I'll tell you, girl, don't be offended," the old woman asked. "You see, you love everyone, but not yourself very much. That's why you consider yourself unworthy of anyone's love." "No, not at all. I treat myself well," the fairy protested vehemently. "No, don't get upset. Listen to the old woman. Look and understand what it means to love and to treat someone well. These are two different things. You treat someone well for a reason, but you love them for no reason. Do you understand?" "No, I don't understand," The sunbeam admitted honestly. Look, what did you do to keep your love? But I did everything I could. I just loved him, never grumbled about anything, cared for him, looked after him. I decorated the forest and the house, forgave him everything, wrapped him in rays of sunshine. The fairy began to explain. Look, you did so much, and all for the sake of preserving love, the fairy patiently explained to the slow-witted grandmother. What? Do you demand something in return from people when you give them love? No. What are you talking about? The fairy exclaimed indignantly. I just do it out of the goodness of my heart. So you give your love for nothing. And what about getting someone else's love? Look at all the feats you've accomplished, asked the old woman, narrowing her eyes slyly. What kind of love is this that has to be earned at such a price? How else can it be earned? Asked the fairy heatedly, then stopped short. The old woman nodded contentedly. That's your problem. You're willing to do anything to keep your beloved. He feels like he's tied up hand and foot. Who wants to spend their whole life in a cradle, even if it's with the most caring mother? That's why he kept talking to me about his mother. Only I didn't understand what he was talking about. The fairy confessed. But I don't know any other way. It's my destiny. Isn't it your destiny to heal bodies and souls? Said the old woman. But you must learn to be a woman, become a sorceress yourself and cast a spell on your beloved. You'll see, you'll succeed. All women can do it if they want to. I want to, exclaimed the fairy. I want so much to be loved. You're a smart girl, approved the old woman. That's right. You used to love being loved, and he let you do it. Now let someone love you and accept that love with joy. You deserve it. Everyone deserves it. But how will I know who my beloved is and where to find him? The fairy asked thoughtfully. Oh, girls, sighed the old woman, you all want to search. Don't fuss, just live by the forest, care for people, heal them, and he will come to you. Let him take the initiative, otherwise you'll do everything yourself. Would you like some more tea? Light, sunshine. No, fairy, it's time for me to go. My basket isn't full yet, I have to get to the rich man. And what do you have in your basket, if it's not a secret? Mushrooms, berries, herbs? What kind? The fairy asked curiously. No secrets. Fairy tales, my dear. I walk around the world collecting fairy tales. I'm a storyteller. Now I'll add your story to my collection. And where do you put them afterwards? The fairy asked in amazement. I give them to people, the storyteller readily admitted, and I'll leave you a fairy tale for your shelter and delicious dinner. Come on, put your hand in the basket. Oh, something soft and fluffy with a tail jumped into my hand, cried the fairy. Light, sunshine, that means your fairy tale has found you, a kind one with a happy ending. The old woman announced joyfully. Put it under your pillow. Let it come to you in your dreams at night and come true during the day, but that's without me. In the evening, the most wonderful fairy tale begins, so hurry up. And the old woman disappeared into the forest. Afia, light. Sunshine put her fairy tale under her pillow, cleared the dishes, went out onto the porch, and suddenly. But it was a completely different fairy tale. Soft, fluffy, kind, and with a happy ending.